Hello friends, welcome to another session of video tutorial on Docker. In this session, we are going to take a look at the basic commands used with Docker. Before we start looking at the basic commands, we need to understand the difference between an image and a container. That is, a Docker image and a Docker container. Okay, so what is a Docker image? So this is an image which has got these different layers. Let us say A, B, C. Okay, so this is a set of layers which are created and bundled together to create this particular image. Okay, and once we have created this image, then we cannot modify this particular image. However, we can delete the image and recreate a new image, or we create an instance of this particular image, modify it and store it as another image. Once this particular image is created, we cannot modify it. Okay, so when I say I cannot modify it, let us assume that I wanted to add another layer here called D to this particular image. I cannot do that. However, I can create a container based out of this particular image which has got A, B and C already, so which is exactly similar to this image, but now I can add a D to it and create a new image which is image 1. However, this image remains the same. So if you pull this particular image, it will still contain only A, B and C. However, the new image, image 1, will contain these basic layers, which is A, B, C, which is contained in image, and the new layer which is added as D. Okay, so once the image is created, then you cannot modify it. However, you can delete it. Okay, so that is about image. So what is a container? A container is a running instance of this particular image. However, okay, so this container is let us say I have created a container based on this particular image which is called image. So this will contain all our layers A, B and C. So this is a running instance of this particular image. However, if I create a running instance of image 1, it will contain A, B, C, D layers. Now this particular container can be changed. We can add additional layer to it. Okay, as I said in image 1. So after creating the container, we can add additional layer to it and save it as a different image. So in our case, we stored it as image 1. So without creating an instance, we cannot change the image content. Okay. So however, after changing the image content, if we still pull this particular image, then it will still have A, B, C. However, the new image will have the additional layers which you have added. So that is why it is immutable. That means it is bound to have the same layers no matter where you install it or where you pull it. Container is an instance of image running on that particular machine. So, however, the contents of container can be changed and saved as a new image. Hopefully, it is clear the difference between an image and a container. Okay, so when I said images, okay, where are these images stored? If you go to hub.docker.com and after logging in, you can click on Explore. This is where all the images are stored. This is a kind of repository where all the images are stored. So as on today, there are these many images available. You can also create your own image and add it here. You can see all the images which are verified and official images, and those images are categorized based on these categories. So you can start looking at the one which is useful for you. Today what I'm going to take a look at is this Ubuntu image. These are some of the basic commands which we will go through today. Some of them are image related and some of them are container related. So let us look at the image related. As we have seen, all the images are stored in a repository called hub.docker.com. So what we are going to do is we are going to pull an image called Ubuntu onto this particular machine. To pull that image, we are going to make use of docker pull command. So docker pull Ubuntu. Okay, so this will fetch the latest version of the Ubuntu image. This will fetch the latest Ubuntu image from hub.docker.com. So if you are using a proxy, you need to set the proxy so that it talks to hub.docker.com so that it pulls the image correctly. The next command is, since we have pulled the Docker image called Ubuntu, I want to see whether that image exists on my machine or not. So for that, I'm going to make use of Docker images. Okay, as you can see, it has pulled the image called Ubuntu. Okay, so this is the image and this is the image ID and this is the size of that particular image. This image is really small compared to the virtual PC image. Okay, so the next thing is Docker inspect. So what Docker inspect will do is it will go and inspect the image which we have downloaded. Let us see that now. Docker inspect Ubuntu, which is our image name. So this will give you the details of that particular image. Okay, so it has got an ID. If you look at further down, then you might also see these are the environment paths which is set inside this particular image. And also you can see, since we were talking about different layers, you can see these are the layers which are embedded into this particular image. And you can also see the OS, which is Linux here, and the architecture, which is AMD 64. So these are all the information related to that particular image. Okay, the next command is Docker history. And Ubuntu. Okay, so this will provide the history of that particular image. So this was the first part, and this is the next part which was added, and this is the next part which was added. So it will give you the history of that particular image. Suppose say if I want to remove this particular image, then I can do that by using docker rmi command. Docker remove image Ubuntu. Okay, now you can see that this particular image has been removed. Now if I look at Docker images, I shouldn't see any image here. So that image has been removed now. Okay, so these are some of the basic commands for Docker images. Okay, so let me pull that image back. Okay, so okay, now we have that image back again. So now we will look at the container related Docker commands. So now we have an image. If you look at this particular image, then this contains, these are the layers which are contained in that particular image. An instance gets created which is called a container. Now we will run the container by using docker run Ubuntu. Okay, what this will do is this will run an instance of image called Ubuntu. So how do we see whether this particular container has run or not? So for that we use docker container ls. Okay, as of now you can see that there is nothing displayed here, but if I do all, then you can see this particular container was created and then it ran and it exited. Okay, so 33 seconds ago. Suppose say if I want to rerun this particular container, now this particular container has got an ID, okay, which is this. Now if I want to rerun this container, what I can do is docker start and the container ID. Okay, now again docker container ls. Okay, there's nothing running now. Now if I look at all, it should say now this container was started again a minute ago, and so this was created about a minute ago, but the status is exited 15 seconds ago. So that means if you look at this one, it says 31 seconds ago and this says 15 seconds ago. So that means it started the container again. This is the existing container. So the difference between docker run and docker start is docker run will create an instance of the image and runs it, wherein docker start will start an existing container. Docker run will create a new container and runs it. However, docker start will start the existing container. It won't create a new container. Okay, so that is the difference between docker run and docker start. Okay, so we have seen docker start, docker run, and docker container ls. So another thing is we can use, instead of docker container ls, docker ps, which is same as docker container ls, and we can also specify option called all, which will display the same information. Okay, the next command is docker rename. I have removed all the docker containers. Let me run the docker container again. Okay, as you can see that there is a name. Okay, so this is the container ID and this is the image, this is the command, and what time this particular container was created and what is the current status, and this is the port number, and there's a name. The name says recursing McClintock. And so if you want to rename that name, then what we can do is docker rename, and let's provide the ID here, and I will call it as docker demo. Okay, so now if I look at docker container ps all, now instead of recursing McClintock, the name has been changed to docker demo. So you can also rename the name of the container. The next command is docker stop. Since we know that whenever we run docker start or docker run, it will run and it will exit immediately. So to show you how docker stop works, so I have to go into interactive mode. For that I will use docker run -i, which is interactive, and provide me a terminal like TTY terminal, wherein I can put in the command, and the image name is Ubuntu, and provide me the bash terminal. Okay, now this is providing me an interactive TTY wherein I can run the commands, for example ls. Okay, so now this is running in the background. So if I open up another command prompt and docker container ps-all, if you look at this current status, it is up 28 seconds ago. Now it has not exited yet. So what we can do is we can run the stop command to stop the other container. Docker stop, and this is the container ID. Okay, as soon as I type in this, you can see it sends an exit command to the interactive terminal which was open. So now you can see that that particular container has exited. If you are running, or if the Docker container is running in background or in interactive mode, then you can stop the container by using this stop command. Okay, the next one is Docker restart. So Docker restart and provide the container ID. So what it will do is it will restart the container, and then again it will exit. Okay, so now if I want to remove this particular, let me close the other window. Okay, so if I want to remove this particular container, then I can do that by using docker remove and the container ID. Okay, docker container ps-all. Okay, as you can see, it has removed this particular container. Now because of the other run, docker run, we have another container here. So let us kill this one as well, or remove this one. Docker container remove, and so if I do docker container ps-all, then I shouldn't get anything. Okay, So now this is how we can use Docker remove to remove a particular container with the ID or name. Okay, so we have seen this particular command, docker run -it ubuntu bash. So this is one of the important command which we will be using in the next few sessions in order to create a new image. So these are some of the Docker basic commands, and we also saw how to make use of the docker run command with interactive mode. So this we are going to use it in the next session to create our own image. That's all we have in this session. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like, share. If you have any comments, please post it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.